Alright, this is our Sprint 2 summary. So we have stuff written on the board, but we'll just read it out since you can't really see it. So over right here is the user stories we implemented this sprint, which is search, add, simple UI, save, and comments. And here's a list of what each of us one did, and I'll let them explain it to themselves.
So I'll start off then. So I did simple UI, so I got that to be tested and done. It went fairly quick, so that was good. And at the moment, or at that time, I was also doing the adding articles, and I was pretty much trying to figure out how to add articles to the database and all that. And yeah.
Alright, so for my user story, I've been working on the search function over here. So I managed to get quite a bit of the search function done. So according to what input the user places on our JSP page, I can then connect that input to the database and it will then return the relevant results on another JSP page. So yeah, I think my search function is pretty much done for now.
So I had two. I did the comments and the save queries. So the comments was dropped because we had a higher priority given to us by the product owner, and since that was the lowest priority and one we had made up not given to us, we decided to put that on hold and start the save queries. And that did go well. We got one of the two user stories done, which is to save the queries. And if possible, if it's a high priority by the user story, I mean by the product owner, we will implement it next sprint, but we'll see that in our review. So we'll go on to the actual summary, and the first question, which is what went well.
So I guess I'll start off. So what went well for me? Simple UI for me went quick. Testing was fine. It passed the first time, so that was good. And so that went well. So that was quick. And prototype add starting off was alright, and I'll get to later on about what didn't go well later on. So that went well for me. How about you?
Alright, so for what went well for me in the search, pretty much everything was fine really. I did my testing and I was able to return quite a few relevant results. So returning the name of the article, the year, author, and so on. Yeah.
So what went well? So yeah, the save queries did go well. We did get the main part working, and it wasn't too hard. But yeah, so but well, the drop comments didn't seem too hard. But if we do, I'm sure we can get that working if we need to. And so next question, what didn't go well?
So for me, what didn't go well was it took a lot of time for me to implement add articles to the database. Adding to the database was kind of difficult, and
Hello? Students,
Yep.
AUTs.
Yep. Sorry about that. That was just a security guard coming in.
Yeah, we'll just continue. No big deal.
And so yeah, so what didn't go well for me? So adding articles to the database took a lot of time. I didn't quite finish, and I'll try to get to it, but yeah, it took a lot of time trying to figure out what input methods the user would want to enter, and yeah, so that didn't go well for me.
Alright, so what didn't go well for me for the search function was that it took quite longer than I expected, and I had a bit of trouble connecting my search to the database due to some of my SQL statements having errors. So basically what I had to do was have a look online to find some extra tutorials on how to suss my issue out. But it was quite a bit of a challenge, but I did get there eventually.
So what didn't go well would obviously be that we started the comments without getting info from the product owner. So it wasn't too much since it was only like 1 or 2 days into the sprint before we checked what the product owner wanted. But that obviously is something we do need to improve on, and I'll talk about it next point. But it is the one thing that did hold me back probably the most of the sprint. Alright, so the last question is what improvements could we have made?
So for mine, what improvements I could have made was when I was doing the add articles, I felt like I could have added more input methods. So like I really wanted to add in like how well the article was written, so the credibility. I wanted to add that. Wasn't able to do that, but I really wanted to do that. So that could have gone a bit. I could improve on that next time. How about you?
Alright, so for improvements I could have made is perhaps whenever I return the relevant results of my search, I could have provided a link to a possible article that the user may be interested in rather than just returning specific data about it and then effectively asking the user to go back to our search page and then look up the article from there.
So for me, like I said before, it's something we should have done from the get-go, and it's something we all need to do is actually get what user stories need to be done by the product owner, and we will implement that next sprint by before we even start to email the product owner to see what we're doing and to see what he wants, and that is probably the biggest point I'll need to improve on. Right. So overall, as a sprint, how do you think it went?
I reckon it went well, and like we said, we've got some improvements we can make, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I reckon it was a fairly challenging sprint, but we did get quite a few features done in the end.
Yeah, I reckon we did a lot better than sprint one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one thing we do need to improve on, we actually pinpointed it, and I'm pretty sure that's just probably the biggest one. Overall, didn't go too bad. We're doing more of the Trello and GitHub, and I think overall this is a good learning step, and I think Sprint 3 will be pretty much perfect.
Yep.
Alright,
Alright.
cool.